Hi everyone, I'm Victoria, author and editor. I know that many of you participated in NaNoWriMo last month, so I want to take a moment to talk about what to do next. These tips are going to be geared toward Nano, but most of this is universal. Whether you completed your draft during Nano or outside of it, you're still going to need to follow the same steps to get it from a first draft to something polished and ready to submit or publish. So let's dive right in, shall we? I am assuming, of course, that you have a completed first draft, not just the 50,000 words required to win Nano. So you have a nice first draft, all completed, you've been working on it for a while, for a month, whatever the case may be. You're sick of this thing. You're tired of looking at it, working on it, thinking about the characters. You just want them to go away for a little while. I have good news for you. That is exactly what needs to happen. Put that thing away, stick it in a drawer and forget about it. One of the most important things when it comes to editing is being objective, and that can be really, really difficult with your own work. But it's even more difficult when you are right at the end of the writing process and you're having all kinds of feelings about your work. Some of them are good, some of them are not so good. But no matter what, these emotions make it really difficult to be objective and to make smart editing decisions. And if you try to edit right off the heels of writing, in the end, you're just going to get frustrated. So step one, put it away. Forget about it, let it rest. The timeline for doing this is different for everyone, and it's different for every manuscript. Personally, I like a month. I think that's a pretty good starting point. Sometimes it takes a little more. For me, it's never taken less, but some writers only need a week. It's going to depend on you and your writing style, also how long it took to write the manuscript, and how emotionally draining it was to write the manuscript. You all know what I'm talking about when I say that some stories and characters just take a lot out of you. And in that case, you're probably going to need more time than usual to really detach from the manuscript. All right, you have given it some time, let it rest, and you're feeling like you can go back to it and view it objectively. Step two begins the editing process. So when we're editing, we're always going to start with high-level elements, developmental editing. We're going to start by looking at plot, structure, character development, all of these big things that are going to take wide sweeping changes to fix. The reason we do that is we don't want to do low-level edits for sentence and paragraphs and then decide I'm going to cut, the first third of the book, which can happen. So we always begin with high-level developmental. Now, a quick disclaimer before I really get into this, everyone's editing process is a little bit different, but certain things are pretty universal. Beginning with high level and then moving down to low level is universal. That said, the editing process is different for every manuscript, for every writer, and you may do your high level, get into your low level, and then discover that, oh, hey, maybe I want to cut this character. That happens, and when we're editing, we have to be flexible and let the manuscript tell us what it needs. Okay, so back to developmental. The first thing you're going to want to do is read your manuscript. Take some notes, think about the strengths and the weaknesses and where you can make improvements. Basically, you are developing a game plan. You're analyzing your manuscript as an objective third party, not as the writer who dearly loves all of the characters involved. You're going to do some soul searching and really think about how to make this book better. Once you have a game plan, you're going to go in and do whatever it needs. That may mean moving sections around, cutting characters, changing plot points. It may mean an entire rewrite of the book. And if it does, that is okay. Making large-scale changes and even rewrites does not mean your first draft was bad. It does not mean you're a bad writer. It means you're a good writer for being committed to your manuscript and wanting to do everything that you can to make it better. So this process can take a long time. It can take a lot of energy, and if you need to rest during it, take a little break. Don't be afraid to do that. Don't let yourself become too discouraged to keep working on your manuscript because it can be really hard and really draining. And whatever you have to do to keep that end goal in sight, thinking about how much stronger your manuscript is going to be in the end, do that. Okay, so once your developmental edits are complete, maybe you've just moved a few things around, maybe you have basically rewritten the manuscript. Either way, then it's time to move into some lower level edits. So you're going to be reading through the manuscript line by line, looking at sentence structure, word choice, aspects of the prose. Again, every manuscript, every writer is different. This may be 1 pass, this may be 12 passes. So when you're finished with this step, you should be very confident in your manuscript. You should feel like you have something that is very close to submitting or to publication. Basically, it is all but perfect at this point. Then you're going to take some time to proofread. It can be easy to say, let's just skip this step. Do I really need to proofread? I've been over this manuscript 167 times. How many typos can there be? There are typos. I promise, there are typos. You've devoted all this time to writing and editing your work. Don't let a few typos turn someone off. Okay, we've written, we've rested, we've edited for content, we've line edited, we've proofread, we're done, right? Nope. Now it is time to enlist beta readers. These are the folks who are going to read your manuscript and tell you whether they liked it. Isn't that fun? So I want to point out something really important here. You have written, rested, edited, and then you're sending to beta readers. You are sending them a polished, pristine copy of your manuscript. You are not sending them a first draft. Don't ever send betas a first draft. It's not helpful for you, and it's kind of disrespectful to them. So your betas are getting your best work. Now I have a whole video about beta readers, so I will link that in the description box. But basically they are going to tell you whether they liked it, and then you are going to take their feedback and possibly make some more changes. If you need to do several rounds of betas, that's something you can do. After you have self-edited, enlisted betas, possibly edited some more based on beta feedback, then it is time to consider a professional editor. Again, I really want to note that you have done all of this editing before hiring a professional editor. We do it in this order for several reasons. First of all, you are going to get way more out of the professional editing process by having already edited your book and sending a solid manuscript to your editor. They're going to be able to dig deeper into those edits because they're not having to deal with the kind of shallow edits that you could have addressed yourself. You are also going to pay less by self-editing. As editors, we set our rates based on how long it is going to take us to edit a manuscript. Manuscripts that have already been self-edited do not take as long to edit. Therefore, you will pay less and you will get more for it. Like self-editing, the professional editing process is different for everyone. Talk to your editor, talk about what you think your manuscript needs, and don't be afraid to ask them questions. Okay, you have written your draft, let it rest, edited for content, edited line by line, proofread, enlisted beta readers, hired a professional editor. Whew. You are now ready to present your beautiful, shiny manuscript to the world, whether that means querying agents, submitting to publishing houses, or self-publishing. You're ready to roll. Now I'm going to go ahead and break this news to you gently. If you do choose to query agents or submit to publishing houses, there will likely be some more editing involved. And by likely, I mean 100%. There will be more editing involved. But it's okay, because editing makes your book better, and you want your readers to have the best possible version of your book. I hope everyone had a great November and accomplished everything they wanted to with their manuscripts. And I hope you're all ready to tackle the revision process and come out with a solid manuscript that you are proud of. This has been your Post-Nano debriefing. I'll see y'all next time.